Well, fucking son of a diddly. That's expensive. £38 for 3 hours parking. Fuck. Better get a move on then. Alright, now today we're doing some fire alarm testing. So I've also got some fire extinguishers, these bad boys, so I've got to fit them in because in this building they've got to be changed every 12 months for some reason, I don't know why. I've got some smoke detector spray. I think people look at me, they're like, why are you talking to yourself in the back of a van? You don't understand. Alright, I'll take the fire extinguishers first. You see, generally I would stop outside and load up, but the traffic wardens around here are like rats. And they will give you a ticket, so I can't. But never mind. Okay, boss. Put that out so if anyone dies, I can say it's not my fault. Now, if you're doing something like fire alarm testing, you need to make all the residents aware of what it is you're planning on doing. So you can't just go, because each flat here, there's 4 flats, there's 4 detectors inside each flat. So you can't just go banging on the fire alarm, checking it if people don't know about it. So the way I do it is I'll just leave a note like that next to the fire alarm panel by the front door, so they know, they know when it's going to be, they know what time it's going to be. But it's just so that they can expect disruption and, no one can say, why didn't you tell us? So, yeah, always worth leaving a note. I mean, if you're doing something like a weekly fire alarm test, generally it's done on Tuesdays. In the trade, it's known as Testing Tuesday. That's just if you're having a weekly fire alarm test, that's why it's done on Tuesdays. It's just quick and easy to remember. So, but this is a 6 monthly check. So yeah, it's just a quick one to remember, Testing Tuesday. So if you're testing fire alarms, try and do it on a Tuesday if you can. Now this is a 6 monthly test. So I've got to take the batteries out, I've got to test the voltage on the batteries, do a drop test on them. I've got to test each of the cool points. I've got to test the main fire alarm key switch here. Test all the buttons, make sure the LCD display works. Basically, it's a full test. And then what we're going to do is I've got to go around with some of this smoke detector spray, and I've got to test each smoke head one by one. So we'll test one, the fire alarm panel should go off, we'll then reset it, go to the next one, do the same test, and we just keep doing that until we've tested every single detector. I've got a feeling here there's about a dozen detectors that need testing. So if you're doing a weekly test, you don't have to test every single cool point on a weekly test. So when you do your testing on a Tuesday, you can just take your manual cool point key switch and you can just put it in and test one cool point, and then next week you test another one and then another one, and eventually if you've got, like in this building here, say you've got half a dozen cool points, over the course of 6 weeks you'd have tested every single cool point. So but the idea is it means you haven't got to keep on setting the alarm off like 6 times on one Tuesday. I'll run through a bit of it now with you actually. So now you can either put an operator's code in, the engineer's code, supervisor code, whatever you want to call it, or you can use this key. So I'm just using this key because I always carry this on me. So first thing we'll do is we'll check any current events. There's obviously no fires because no one's running out of the building in their pajamas, but we will see if there's any faults. So no faults. There's no disables because disabled light isn't on. Is there any warnings? No warnings. So warning events would be things like if the battery voltage was low or if there was a fault on the backup supply. Anything like that. It'll just give us warnings, things that might not be critical, but they're things that need to be rectified at some point. So we'll click out of that. And then test modes. So we'll go into test modes now. So you can test the LCD display, we'll do that. And then as you can see, it literally, I mean, this is basically all it is. It's just doing basic testing just to make sure the panel's working as it should. That's it. And we'll test the LEDs. So that's them done. We'll test the buzzer. Generally, when you fit a panel, you should fit a cool point next to the panel. And one of the reasons behind that, there might be multiple reasons, but one of the reasons that I know of is that if there's living accommodation, which there is just through there, the idea is that you mustn't be able to get from your living accommodation to the front door without passing a cool point. You have to be able to pass a cool point. So if there's living accommodation, you must, from that front door there to here, basically a member of the public has to be able to get from their flat to the front door, and they have to pass a cool point on the way out. So one of the annoying things about doing this on your own is you've got like loads and loads of stairs to climb. So if I had, for instance, if I had a lad working with me, an apprentice or something, he can stand down by the fire alarm panel with the key. I can do the running up and down the stairs or something, or vice versa, whichever way. But that way, it means you haven't got to keep on running up and down the stairs to reset the panel every time you test a cool point. So it's a bit of a faff, but that is one of the downsides of working on your own, rather than having a lad working with you. Coming, 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 coming. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'll do a smoke detector test in front of you. So we've got one detector here. So let me get up here so I can show you. So we've just got a standard, this is actually programmed as a smoke detector, I think. So what we're going to do, we take our saber, flick it out like that, and then all you do, literally, just give it a quick half a second squirt, and that generally is enough. You don't need to do any more than that. One of the reasons why you don't want to go too excessive with this stuff is because what happens is if you squirt like Billy O on that thing, if you squirt, like you see some people do, what can happen is when the alarm goes off, you'll run all the way down to the fuse board, reset it, the fire alarm panel, you'll reset it and then give it a minute or so later and it will just go off again. So it's always good when you're doing this, just literally a quick half a second squirt, and that's all it needs to be. So the system's it's just in standby now waiting, and that's literally enough. It shouldn't have to be any more than that. So if we come down now and let that do its thing, it should set the system off. There you go. So we come over to our panel. Zone 7's communal. Silence the alarm. Reset the system. And that's literally it. Now it might go off again because sometimes they do it with this saber smoke, sometimes they do it. It's nothing to do with this, it's just there could be residual smoke from this in the smoke head and it's just picking it up. So normally I tend to stand here for 5 minutes and wait and just see, just see what happens. Yeah, there you go, it's done it again. So when you do smoke testing, this is common. Silence the alarm, reset it again. What you can do actually, if you've got a book or something, just blow it. That sometimes usually works. I've been up and down these stairs about 50 times today. This sort of stuff, if you've got an apprentice or a lad working with you, this job is infinitely easier. You know, if you've got a labourer or an apprentice who can give you a hand doing this, because I mean the downside I've got here is because I'm on my own, I haven't got an apprentice or anybody. I've got to go up and down, up down, up down, and it does take you a lot longer doing it on your own. If you've got a lad doing it with you, you know, like I said earlier, one just stands by the fuse board, and the other one just goes around with this, quick, you know, done. So unfortunately, I'm doing it sort of the longer way around, but I've booked a day for it. I've allowed a day's labour for it, so. And that was one of the other reasons, that note by the fuse board that I left. I did that because that gives me the ability to test between 9 to 5 all day long. The alarms can go off at any point, because obviously the way I'm doing it is, you know, it's slower essentially. So yeah, that one's all right now. It's not going off anymore, and that's basically all you do. And you just go upstairs. I'll just do the next one. Do the next one. One thing that's worth noting: if these are, you know, if you've got them programmed for heat, then you've got to put a sticker on it saying it's programmed for heat. I'll take one of the detector heads off actually. Give me a minute and I'll be back. If I can find the device, there it is. So this device here is what's called a smoke detector removal tool, if you want to call it. It's basically just the device that you remove them with. So this basically just goes like that, twist, and it comes out, and that's the detector head removed. And the fire alarm panel has now picked up a fault because I've removed the detector head. The TwinFlex Pro system it's really, really clever. You know, it's such a good alarm system because it's really quite advanced, some of the stuff that it can do. I don't know how other camera's going to pick this up, but in the back there, you've got little dill switches. And all you do is you just toggle them from 0 to 1. You've got you've got 8 dill switches. And you basically just toggle them from on to off, 0 to 1 on each of them, depending on what you want it to do. So you can program this to just be a heat detector, you can program it to be a smoke detector, you can program it to decide how much smoke will make the alarm come on. It can be heat and smoke. Another cool feature is these have got what's called Logic Link. And the idea is that for each of these flats here, you have one of these inside in the bedroom of every flat. And if they, for some reason, let's say they have a fag in the bedroom or something, if they set the smoke detector off in their bedroom, it will activate the sounder in the bedroom, but not in the rest of the building. And if they don't respond to it within, I think it's 2 minutes, 90 seconds, it's somewhere around there. If they don't respond to it, then it sets off the alarm in the rest of the building. But it's quite a cool feature because it helps stop disruption to other people in the building. So if their alarm in the ground floor flat went off, for instance, it will just activate that flat. It won't activate. It won't disturb anybody else. So yeah. Anyway, let me pop this one back in. There you go. That's it. I've had a lot of you asking when am I going to do the tour of my van. I will do it soon. I promise. I'm just really, really busy at the moment, just trying to get work booked in and stuff, and you guys know how it is, but I do thank you for your patience because it is appreciated. I had a comment left on my channel a couple of days ago, I think it was, or was it last? Yeah, it was last weekend, last Friday, I think it was, and it was I can't remember it word for word, but it was something along the lines of. You're not your normal upbeat and sort of chipper, dry humoured self. I do try to reply to everybody's comments, but sometimes I miss a few, and if I've missed you, it's not intentional. It's just, I've got loads and loads and loads, and I've just got to try and reply to all of them. So I'm trying to keep everybody as involved as I can, and I did reply to it, and I explained that it's that this recording on site business is proving to be a bit difficult. I'm certainly not giving it up in no way. I'm like a dog with a bone. Now I've started this, I'm going to keep going with it. It's not. Sometimes I don't know if my enthusiasm comes through the camera. I don't know whether it does or not sometimes. And it can be quite difficult. So like a couple of days back, in fact, this is what I was talking about in this comment. A couple of days back, I was doing a kitchen refit, and I'd spent the whole day recording. And I got some really good footage under floorboards in the loft space. I got some really good footage. And then I got home, I plugged my camera in and plugged my wireless mics in and everything to charge. And then I realised that when I played all this footage back, I hadn't switched on my wireless microphone. So I had all of this footage and I had no sound. So you do get issues like that happen. I haven't quite figured out how to do this on site perfectly yet. This is still a work in progress because I'm practicing with camera rigs and stuff, because I'm finding that I've got to carry more and more stuff. So at the moment, what you're seeing now is basically positioned in a camera rig with my wireless mic, my mixer, the gimbal, and it's mounted on a handheld crane. So it's not ideal, but I'm trying to figure out a way of being able to carry all of this to get it all, so you get nice smooth footage, because no one likes shaky footage. So, but I am trying to get it right, and a big thank you, I think, to everybody who has subscribed, because I'll be honest, I didn't actually expect it to grow the way it has. And a big thank you to you people who have subscribed, because it does mean a lot. Actually, it gives me the enthusiasm to go out and to make the effort to try to get this footage. So for all the problems I'm encountering on site, and there are plenty, it makes it worthwhile. But yeah, if my enthusiasm doesn't come through on cam, it's probably because I've had a shit day recording the previous day. More than likely, that's probably what it is. So yeah. Anyway, let me get set up in the van, and we'll get home. Get in there. Okay. Today has been a good day, I don't mind saying. Okay, boys and girls. Oh, that's that done. I must charge my phone actually, because it's flat. It died about 2 hours ago, so I'm quite sure I've got about 66 million text messages saying, "Why are you answering your phone?" I don't want to fucking talk to you, that's why. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope I'm a bit more chipper in this video. Yeah, if you want to subscribe to this sort of thing, then you'll be clicking up here. If you want to watch another video, down here. Comments down the bottom, same as always. And I will see you guys next week in that case. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you either on a midweek video or next week. It'll probably be on a midweek video. So yeah, bye for now.